It's got plenty of entertainment for single men.
A place where a lot of guys will actually confide in a lot of these chicks with their problems.
It's all about having a good time, have some drinks, and get the vibes up.
An economy that's on the rise.
Vietnam's trying to follow the original China model because they've seen the success.
And a population not without its problems.
They do have one thing in common, and that is that education's just not a priority.
It's cultured, civilized, cosmopolitan, and crazy as hell.
If you want westernized metropolis Tokyo in Vietnam, it's Saigon for sure.
It's a city called Saigon.
And it's full of life.
Ho Chi Minh City attracted over 3 million visitors last year, who largely came to take in the city's art, culture, and history. Who came to see things like the Museum of Fine Arts or the War Remnants Museum. But as a self-respecting single man traveling the world, I of course have an altogether different agenda: to seek out a place with a different sort of art, culture, and history. A magical, even mythical place. A place called a girly bar. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of girly bars in District 1 alone. They're not quite strip clubs, but they encourage the kind of debaucherous behavior that will strip a man of his money just as fast. So after 10 grueling minutes of Google homework and a stroll around Pasteur Street, I find one I figure I'm least likely to go broken.
Welcome to Kim Tavern.
I love you like la 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 la.
Here we are Kim Tavern in Saigon. Some guy they come here and they like the girl and they say I come to Kim Tavern bar in Saigon. That's why I got my wife, and they always grateful when they come back here and they ring the bell.
I love you like la 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 la.
The bell is one special thing in Kim Tavern bar, which is when you ring it, you buy drink for a whole bar. So if you have a very big contact side, or you are married, or you have some very happy thing happen to your life, they ring a bell. And if I'm dating someone, I tell them to ring a bell. Bang, bang, bang. Sometimes you need to be careful. Make sure you know how much you want to have to pay for it. Money, money.
I love you like la 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 la.
In my bar, almost the men for come here.
Yeah.
Not so many American here.
Okay. Well, there's one here now.
Yeah.
Oh, too strong, mate. Too strong.
Oh no!
I find myself spending an embarrassing amount of my time in Saigon at Kim's Tavern and the adjacent Bar 22.
Ooh.
Talking politics, of course. But for me, it's like a home away from home, and I spend many nights there trying the best street food and working on my Vietnamese pickup lines. Best of all though, the bar is where I either meet or hang out with all of my expat friends, like these guys.
Oh! It's a guy thing. You come here, you play pool, you have some drinks. It's a place where a lot of guys will actually confide in a lot of these chicks with their problems.
It's all about having a good time, have some drinks, and get the vibes up. Nice. 5-1. Shit! You know, we're going to be coming past one of the most iconic bars in Saigon. To our left here, it's called Blanchie's. You know, it's been around for a very long time. One of the classics.
Good times there, and good times there.
There are over 100,000 foreigners living and working in Saigon, but I win the expat lottery when I get these two guys as my new friends.
Oh, here's a familiar face.
Because they know just about everyone in town.
How are you, brother? No way! How's things?
Ça va?
Ça va?
How are you?
We're going to go up to Japantown. Good to see you, man. We'll do.
See you again.
But you know, I've been here 11 years, and if you go to the same places, you see the same people, basically. So
it is very.
They say it's a very, like, you know, they say it's a small world. It's a small Saigon.
It is.
Always bumping into the same.
And it's a tight community as well with the expats, especially within the nightlife or the F&B industry. Everyone knows each other. Everyone treats each other well. So you know, everyone goes to each other's places. There was no hip hop 9 years ago. It was all like, you know, heavy local Vietnamese like Vina house music. And our friend who used to run a bar down the road, he wanted to try something new for the foreigners, and he said, look, let's play a little bit of hip hop. I know you used to play, and I haven't touched the equipment for like 15 years because of my corporate job. And I said, yeah, why not? Let's give it a crack. And then it went from one day a week to playing every day, and then to managing in the actual clubs. It was a very, very weird transition from finance back to music. I know when everyone hears is like, oh, what? You went from finance to music? So, but going back to what I love doing.
PD Magic and DJ Pat are bona fide rock stars in the world of Saigon expats. While Pat's built a career in nightclub music, PD's had a magic show on Vietnamese television and has starred in Viet feature films.
Because I don't think Vietnam had anyone here doing a show on its own, a magic show. Like they might have functions that hire a magician, but not an actual magic show that you go to. So I said, let's just do a show for free and invite some VIPs, and I'll just come do this stand-up magic style show, an hour and a little bit, and they can come and enjoy, buy drinks and whatever. A couple from the audience, it was an old couple, I needed them to be together for a while, and it was the owners of a TV network that I didn't know. So they invited me to their house sometime down later, and then he had his team call me, and then next minute we're in pre-production talking about a magic show.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the 10 years they've been living in Saigon, PD and Pat have witnessed the city's and the country's rapid transformation.
Man, it's changed heaps. I think Vietnam, being such a young country, they're very highly influenced from outside things like in America especially.
It's very Western.
Yeah, and I mean, social media has obviously gotten bigger through the years, and then getting more exposed to trends and things like that. A lot of the locals start to follow all that.
Seeing it evolve over the last decade, it's insane. When I first moved here, there wasn't many cars. You'll only see taxis, buses, and obviously the motorbikes. And then now we're seeing Lambos, luxury cars.
Saigon has changed dramatically from the city under siege the US left behind after the Vietnam War into a place where brand names and very, very exotic cars are almost the rule rather than the exception. So much so that in 2017, the Minister for Culture, Sports and Tourism spoke out about the materialism being caused by the market economy.
We were #1 as far as emerging markets in Asia. Before COVID. Everyone's moving out of China, everyone's moving out of India, everyone's coming to Vietnam. Why? Because there's land. They can build their manufacturing business here, which is cheaper. Like if you have a look at Zara, most of their stuff was made in Portugal.
Yeah.
Now a lot of it is made in Vietnam. You look at Nike, everything's made in Vietnam. You look at Adidas, everything's made in Vietnam. You're seeing these big powerhouses, even your screens now, which is generally mainly from China, are now being slowly processed out, and it's being made in Vietnam because it's cheaper manpower as well.
The Vietnamese working population is a force to be reckoned with. It's quite simply a culture of working harder and complaining less. It comes as no surprise to me then that Vietnam is one of the fastest growing economies in the world and saw an 8% rise in the GDP in 2022. Part of that growth has been built upon the manufacturing business they've been rapidly stealing away from the Chinese.
There's these cultures when you come to this part of the world, and you got these like expat type people. But like the people I'm hanging with, we're not really like expat type people. Like we're really real sourcing factory people.
Right.
It's a totally different subculture. It's a totally different lifestyle. A totally different understanding.
I refer to my friend Kyle as a modern day cowboy. His horse, a business class ticket. His campfire, the club lounge at the Marriott. For Kyle and his dad, the outsourcing game runs in the family.
I'm here specifically with the intention of following through on this factory exploration that I started about a year ago. Thinking, okay, we got this issue going on with China, and we got Xi Jinping trying to, maintain his, power base for 3 terms. No Chinese, leader's done that since Mao. I think Vietnam sees the opportunity because their pathway of development is more like what China was before Xi came in and started changing everything and making China more conservative, turning the clock back. Vietnam's trying to follow the original China model that they're divorcing themselves from because they've seen the success.
Vietnam has taken the lion's share of the manufacturing trade away from China, with an almost fourfold increase in far-distant trade since 2014. The trend, however, began years ago with pioneers like Kyle's father.
I came to this town probably 10 years ago.
Saigon.
Saigon.
Okay.
I was looking for bamboo buildings, and I found a company here that fabricated bamboo buildings.
And like many Western men who've spent enough time in the region, he has stories that should be a warning to us all.
I was married to a Thai woman, and it just wasn't working out. My ex-Thai wife ended up gambling away $1 million of my money, so I was flat broke. So I ended up like, okay, went back to work.
He's like a real expat.
Ho Chi Minh City is divided into 24 districts, with most of the white Western expats in District 2, Koreans in District 7, Chinese in District 10, and the die-hard locals and the best local food in District 4. But even though the city spans an area of about 800 square miles, the true experience of Saigon is downtown District 1.
If you want westernized, English-speaking metropolis Tokyo, in Vietnam, it's Saigon for sure. Things are moving very fast here. Full of expats, beautiful accommodation, great food. Like, it's a very livable country, which is why as an expat working, this is the best place to be. But in District 1, this area we're in, I feel safe.
I feel more concerned about violence from drunk Western expats than I do
100%.
From the Vietnamese.
And that's as like 100% is that's what you should look out for.
Yeah.
Tim Denton is a veteran TV commercial director that's been living and working in just about every Southeast Asian country for the last 15 years. But for Tim, the city of Saigon is the only place that's really captured his heart and soul.
The older generation of Vietnam also attracts me.
Yeah.
Because I know they've been through so much in their lives. Like, you know, I won't give you a history lesson, but if you've got an old lady in her 90s sitting on the side of the street, she's lived a life, you know, and I walk past her, she smiles at me. And I look at her and I see history and I see reasons to dislike Westerners and all that. I never feel that here. They're very forgiving and they focus on the moment. They're quite Buddhist in that. You know, they don't, the past is the past.
I'm meeting Tim at Seven Bridges Brewing. With award-winning craft beer, handmade pizza, and locations all over Vietnam, it's a place designed for expats like us. This one happens to be right in Tim's neighborhood in Japantown.
All the expats are, most of them are out in D2. Why Japantown?
It's the closest I know of anywhere in the world that you can go to another country and feel like you're in red light district Tokyo. The bars are the same, the food, the quality of the food is really good. I feel safe here, I get a good rental, and it's full of life.
For a place that's as cheap as it is living expenses wise, it's awfully easy to waste all of your money really quickly here.
Rent can be cheap, transport can be cheap, food can be cheap, but if you want to go crazy, you can blow $3,000 a night. It's one of the strongest economies in the world at the moment. And the advantage Vietnam has over the rest of the world is they have a young population. So that's going to bode them well in the future.
The future of Vietnam and of Saigon certainly does look bright, but the economic consequences that have historically disadvantaged certain populations have not escaped this country. As ethnic minorities and migrant workers move to Ho Chi Minh City to find labor, they find themselves excluded from basic social services, like public schooling for their kids. My friend Sven and his wife Jax are doing something about it.
We're more like a bridging classroom, or I guess you could call it also like a tutoring center, which just provides education for the kids who are not quite ready for school yet, or have fallen behind, or have never gone to school. We try to catch them up to the level that they should be at, age-appropriate level, and in the meanwhile, we prepare their paperwork to send them to school. A lot of our kids don't originally come from Ho Chi Minh City, they come from the other provinces. Their parents have traveled to Ho Chi Minh City, the big city, hoping to find jobs, and consequently have uprooted the whole family to come here. They do have one thing in common, and that is that education has taken a back seat for these families. We're talking about families who earn maybe $100-200 USD a month. So when you've got multiple children and you need to feed the family, education's just not a priority.
Sven takes us deep into the outer boroughs of Saigon to show us where these kids are from, how their families live, and why there is such a desperate need to provide educational support like he and Jax are doing.
A lot of the kids from CVI, when they move from the countryside with their families, without work or anything like that, they'll just sort of tack on sheds and construction materials and build onto other houses in whatever areas they can, as close to the work they can find. So under this bridge here, we used to have 3 families of children. They used to walk from the education centre if we couldn't drive them, for whatever reason. It's basically this entire area used to flood. It would go up to their knees. Those 3 families have all moved back to the countryside. They did during COVID. We've kind of lost contact with them since, but this gives you a bit of an idea of the conditions that these kids live in on a day-to-day basis. So at the education centre, you can see it's a bit cleaner, some nicer houses in the area, but that's just the centre we're renting. But where they actually live, and I'll take you to a few more places, it's quite difficult to sort of comprehend.
Oh, shit, uneven road.
I wouldn't describe the neighborhood as dangerous, just hardworking people living in squalor. Sven is on the hunt for 2 girls that used to attend the education center, girls that are quickly going blind, who he has lined up medical help for. But the family moved away during COVID, and their blindness is advancing. Sven needs to get them back into school and get them back to the medical help that could save their vision.
I didn't think so.
Because they can't see anything.
Yeah. I think we're going to try and get them surgery.
Petey, who speaks Viet, translates for Sven to get the girls' contact info, as well as document some of the new children that had just moved to the encampment. Watching the girls emerge from their concrete bunker, I have to say, Vietnam got real. And Sven became something of a superhero.
Almost, the conditions getting worse. So we had them tested, they needed to get glasses, and it was amazing, because it was a big day for them. We picked them up at 6 in the morning. We took them out to a number of different districts, because all the hospitals are in different areas. And what happened was, they were just absolutely exhausted, and I wanted to give them a treat. So I took them. McDonald's had just opened up in Vietnam. So I took the 2 girls to McDonald's and got them a Happy Meal. And they were blown away. And I remember I sat there was the teacher at the time, Yang, and the 2 girls and myself, and they took a bite of the cheeseburger, and they had big smiles on their face. And then both of them, they packed everything away, and I was like, "What? Do you not like it? Is it không no? Nong jo?" And they're like, "No." They're very tasty. And I asked, why are you packing it away? You can eat. And they said, "We want to go take it home so we can share it with our sisters." It blew me away. I was just, these kids have got absolutely nothing, and they're given something, and the first thing they can think of is they want to share it And it was, you asked before why I stayed in Vietnam, it's because of things like that. Like, these kids are just absolutely amazing. If we can get them eye surgery, I would be incredibly happy. So that will be one of our goals. Step away from being a standard tourist and try and immerse yourself a little bit in local culture, and that counts for every country, and you will discover, you know, things that will change your life and people that will just have such an impact. I guess ignorance is bliss, it's a pretty common phrase, but to actually sort of see how someone else lives and to walk into their shoes for even for a day can really change your outlook on life. It's completely changed the person that I am. I'll never be the same, and I'll never be able to you know, walk away from this kind of work and these kind of people again, because now that I know it exists, you know, I've got to do something about it.
Compared to weddings in the US, they are really big on their multimedia displays here.
The year I spent in Saigon was, needless to say, quite an adventure. I became good friends with Kim and the girls at the bar, who showed me the best local restaurants and indoctrinated me into the culinary culture of their country. They even brought me to a Vietnamese wedding.
Bring me to the coupling and go to jail.
William, you're under arrest. I'll get you out of here, man. Don't worry about it.
In the 5 long years since I sold my house in LA, I've lived in 6 different countries and countless hotel rooms, accepting this fleeting existence of high-end homelessness until I can trade it for a place where I call home. And with all of its misfits and mayhem, Saigon just might be that place where I finally belong.
Two, you choose one card each. Don't show me. Remember it, have a look. Show the people at home as well. Okay. Can you put your card in here first? Yeah? Yeah, the rest go on top. Okay, no shuffling. Somewhere in the middle, huh? My lucky card will find your card in a very special way. See, Joker already knows. King of Hearts, see? See, now yours, yeah? Watch. Now take King of Hearts, watch. Boom, 4 diamonds. But you know what else? You know what else? Go up here. Here, look. Oh my gosh.
Subscribe and stay tuned.